Okay, so this is the third Excel tutorial. This one's going to be on how to calculate a t-test using Excel. And I'm going to be, again, working with the same set of data, which is the lettuce seedling growth under different treatments of garlic. We did the table in the first part. We did a bar graph in the second part. Now we're going to do a t-test. I'm going to put my results of my t-test in a table here. So I'm just going to start typing it out. We have the t-test. We have the p-value, and I'm going to also write down whether if it's significant or not. Okay, when looking at your bar graph, after you've done your bar graph, if you have many increments of your independent variable, let's say you have 5 or 6, you don't have to do a t-test between every single iteration, for example, between your first and second, your first and third, your first and fourth, your first and fifth, second and third, and so on. That would be way too many t-tests. What you can do instead is look at the ones where they might be close. For this one, I could see that there is very likely not to be a significant difference between my fresh garlic and crushed sprouted leaf. There is very likely to be a significant difference between fresh garlic and crushed sprouted leaf and control, because these bars do not overlap at all, or these bars overlap a lot. So I still would like you to do at least some t-tests. So even if your results here are very obvious, you should still do a t-test. If you have many increments of your independent variable, you should pick just a few t-tests where the bars are close, or if you're not sure whether they overlap or they're not overlap, they're only overlapping a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to do the t-test between all three of these. So my first one is going to be between fresh garlic versus, I'll call it sprouted leaf. The second one's going to be between fresh garlic versus control. Third one's going to be fresh garlic, sprouted leaf versus control. Okay, I'm going to make just this column a little bit wider, and to do that you want to hover in between the columns and then you can drag it out. So I'm going to do it like, I guess I'll do it like this, and then I'm also going to wrap these text. Wrap text. Okay, so to do the t-test, make these bold. Drag this one out a little bit. You want to click on the cell where you want your t-test to go. You're going to go to Formulas, Insert Function. T-test is not commonly used, so it's probably not going to be in the opening menu here. So it's called TTEST. So type in that, select Go, and there it is. To come up with this function argument box. Array 1 is going to be the raw data for the first group that you're comparing, which is my fresh garlic. Array 2 is the raw data for whatever you're comparing it with, which is crushed sprouted leaf. Make sure you don't grab the mean. Tails is usually going to be 2, unless you know that one of those groups is supposed to be bigger than the other. Type is usually going to be 3, unless you have, I think the only one anyone in this class might have is a paired t-test, where you're using a group, usually it's a group of people or a group of animals, where you're doing a test to them before and after. For example, you might do a test or an experiment where you would test the heart rate of a group of people before exercise, and then you test the same group of people and you measure their heart rate after doing the exercise. So you're using the same group of people. In that case, you would type 1. You would put in 1 for type. Okay, but most often it's going to be 2 and 3. Hit OK, and it gives you the p-value there. I'm going to do the same thing for these. I cannot drag that down because it won't give me the right data. So array 1, this one's going to be fresh garlic versus control. last one is sprouted leaf versus control. 2, 3. Okay, significance. So if it is below 0.05, it is significant. If it is above 0.05, it is not significant. So this one is above, so this one is no. These two are significant, yes, and yes. And I'm just going to make all of these centered and aligned vertically. I'm going to put borders around all of these. So you can choose that, all borders. Let's make a few changes here. I think I'll make this row a little bit taller, make it look nicer. Okay, so as you can see here, between fresh garlic and crushed sprouted root, the error bars do overlap very much, and we've confirmed that with our t-test, that there's no significant difference between these two groups. There's very little, or these error bars are very far away. I said there's likely to be a significant difference between the blue and the gray here, the fresh garlic and the control, and the crushed sprouted leaf and the control. And our t-test does confirm that. So you should always match up the results of your t-test with what the graph says or what your data says to make sure that's correct. Last thing we need to do is insert our text box right above it, and then this will be ready to be cut and pasted into my graph, or my paper. Sorry, not graph. Figure 3. Let's say t-test results for lettuce seedling growth under treatment of garlic used as a bioassay. And I think that's all we need to put there. Oh, so t-test was calculated using MS Excel. Formula is TTEST. Period. And that's the t-test.